Farm Basics time today, we're going to talk about one of the things that's really helped us on our farm to kind of understand our soils and our crop roots a little bit better. It's root pits.
Well, it's always neat to look above ground and see what's going on and judge your crop that way, but really the story is happening below the surface of the soil. And if you haven't dug a root pit on your farm yet, I would strongly suggest doing so this year and seeing what you can learn by looking at the below ground portion of the plant. When we think about that, normally we've got about half the plant mass above the ground and about half the plant mass below. So if we're just looking at, well, here's what the above ground part of the plant is telling me, it's maybe half the story at best. When we have a good, successful root system, we end up with a much healthier plant overall. So the below ground portion, in my opinion, is even more important. But how do you really know what's going on there unless you start seeing some lodging in your crop and you say, well, the roots must not be good? Do some digging this year on your farm. You'll learn a lot.
So I don't care if we're talking about big crop acres or we're talking about a big garden. Either way, it's nice to dig a root pit that's going down, say, 4 to even 5 feet deep in the ground. What we do in our own operation is use a skid steer loader and just pull in, back out. And the other thing is, we'll actually go into the field just a little bit. And I remember the first time we did this probably 15 years ago, and our dad was going crazy that, oh my goodness, you're tearing up crop and everything to go out into the field a little bit and dig this root pit. And I'm like, Dad, how much is an ear of corn worth? How much is one corn plant worth? At the time, it was worth a penny. So what if I tore up 500 plants? I said, here's $5, now we're even. Okay, it's no big deal to tear up a few plants, but the point is we want to get into the field just a little bit, get past the end rows, dig in, down in the ground, and then really see what's going on.
Well, and the big thing too is just like when you're digging up a plant, if you pull it out of the ground, you're going to rip a lot of the root system off. When we're doing this dig, yeah, we're going to dig down 4 or 5 feet, but then we're going to carefully scrape back along the edges so we can really see what's going on. And some people will even take it to the degree of getting a pressure washer out and washing down the side of the root pit so they can see all the fine little root hairs. I don't care what degree you take this. I've got a feeling as soon as you dig in a little bit, you're going to be interested in seeing a little bit more. Now, a couple of things that you may take notice of too. Many times we'll dig straight in and maybe our pit is 5 feet wide and you'll see a few rows of crop. Every 30 inches you'll see a plant. Some people like to go along the side of the row. So like in corn, for example, let's say you have a corn plant every 6 inches. So you'd have roots every 6 inches you could be taking a look at along the side of that row. That might be interesting for you too. You know, if you have things like sidewall compaction because conditions were too wet at planting time, those things will show up when you get a root pit, or if you have some rootworm feeding, or if you just have a fantastic year and everything was great. All those things will become very evident to you very quickly.
One of the most telling things for us, one of the very first root pits we ever dug, was we had corn that was suffering from not enough moisture. The corn leaves were kind of rolled up and everything, so we dig this root pit, and literally I go back out there the next morning and the root pit's 5 feet deep and there's water standing at the bottom of the pit. And I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but even I can figure out, hey, all my roots in that case were in the top 6 inches. I had a hard compaction layer. I didn't have roots below that, and we got down 1.5 feet, 2 feet deep and everything below, and there was all kinds of moisture. So if we could simply connect the two things together, we'd have phenomenal crop, and that's what we've tried to do ever since then, because we saw visually, hey, in the root pit there's all kinds of water and we don't have roots getting there.
I was talking to a farmer one time about this root pit idea, and he said, you know, I see this like I see a doctor's appointment. I'm pretty nervous about what I might find, and that makes me not want to do it, because what if there's a problem? I'm going to have to fix it. But you really have to think about it this way of, hey, if there is a problem, I want to know about it so I can change that for my farm. Because the story that Brian relates about us seeing this compaction layer and water at the bottom of the pit, that's 15 years ago. So we've made changes on our farm right away after seeing that, and we've been benefiting from them for the last 15 years. So it's something, once you see what's going on below ground, you can change your management practices above ground to accommodate the needs that the roots have, and you're going to benefit every year the rest of your farming career from what you're going to learn from this root pit.
One of the things we always do too is just take a knife and run it up the side of that the root pit just to find out where our compaction layers are. We're often finding two different compaction layers, one that's man-made at say 6 inches or maybe 10 inches deep, and then another that's natural at 15 inches or 20 inches, something like that. And ideally, how we fix a lot of that is we go out with a straight shank machine to go just below the man-made compaction layer and the natural compaction layer. We want to get below both of them ideally so we can start connecting our top to the bottom and have those plants get their roots all the way down. So we just make some slices out in the soil with something like a Brilliant Zone Commander, and there are other machines like that too. We're not real big on C shanks. We like straight shanks and narrow points, and then we can go deeper and get more of that accomplished.
Well, the easy answer some people say is, I just want to go out and rip that ground up. But as you do that, all you're doing is basically lowering your compaction layer. So if you've got a hard pan, say at 8 inches, and you go just rip everything up, what happens is, think about if you have different soil particles out there, the fine particles are going to keep settling down, and they're going to make a thick layer again that's going to be tough for your roots to penetrate. And we end up moving that compaction layer down to the depth of that deep ripping that you're doing.
Well, once again, we just think that digging a root pit will be very beneficial for you because as farmers, we're visual people. Once we see it, we go, oh, okay, that's what's going on out in the field. Dig the root pit. It will help you out a lot in your operation.
And one other thing that can help you out greatly is controlling our weed of the week. Can you identify this week's weed?